Hello friends, welcome to our Polity Revision program. In today's class, we will discuss about right to particular freedoms as guaranteed by Constitution of India in Article 19. Right. So Article 19 of the Constitution provides such particular freedoms, six freedoms which are given by our Constitution. Right. So these six freedoms, so originally there were seven freedoms, but now after 44th Amendment Act, it is six freedoms that are present in Article 19. So right, so 44th Amendment Act provides six. 44th Amendment Act, after deleting the freedom of wealth, now the total number of freedoms stands to be 6. So today we have 6 freedoms mentioned in Article 19 of the Constitution. Alright, so Article 19, 1, Clause 1, A to F. Article 19, Clause 1, A to F provides these freedoms. Provides the freedoms. Right. So this is what about Article 19, whereas Article 19 Clause 2, right, provides the conditions within which these freedoms should be enjoyed. So we can say it as conditions or limitations within which these freedoms should be used. So remember, no state, no constitution provides absolute freedoms to its citizens. So absolute freedoms to the citizens. So freedoms guaranteed. So freedoms given by the constitution, they are always restricted. So no absolute freedoms are given to the citizens. So these freedoms are always subjected to restrictions, right? Subjected to restrictions. Remember, our constitution clearly through Article 19 Clause 2 provides these restrictions. So the conditions or limitations, right, they are used to impose restrictions on the freedoms of individual. And we should also remember that Supreme Court on various occasions clearly stated that the restrictions imposed on the freedom should be reasonable. That means state can impose a reasonable restrictions on the rights of the individual as well as freedoms of the individual. So this reasonability, both in terms of procedural reasonableness as well as substantive reasonableness, right? Procedurally as well as substantially, the restrictions imposed on the freedoms as well as rights should be reasonable. So Supreme Court, right, while giving the judgment on A.K. Gopalan read with Maneka Gandhi case, right? So in Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case, Supreme Court clearly stated that, alright, the restrictions imposed should be just and fair, and executive should always act according to the prescribed law. So there cannot be arbitrary act of the executive, and every law made by the state, every law made by the legislature should be just and fair. So both procedure established by law as well as due process of law should be followed in imposing restrictions, right? So both these are mentioned in Article 91. Remember, in Article 21. So the concept of the doctrine of procedure established by law is clearly mentioned in Article 21 of the Constitution. That means every act of the state while restricting the life and liberty of the individual should be in accordance with the procedure given by the law, right? Where the Supreme Court in Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India case has innovated the doctrine of due process of law, saying that law used to impose restrictions on the rights of individual, right, should be just and fair. Should be just and fair. All right. So this is what about the limitations that can be imposed on the rights of the rights and freedoms of the individual. So no state provides absolute freedoms to the individual. So what are these freedoms mentioned in Article 19? So if you take Article 19 1A, it talks about freedom of speech and expression. Freedom of speech and expression. So every individual has been given the right to express their views, opinions, beliefs and conventions freely, either by word, mouth, right, in written, printing or in the form of picture. So every individual is given this right. Right, so every individual can propagate their views in any of the forms as mentioned in Article 19 Clause A, right, where this freedom of speech includes freedom of press, freedom of commercial advertisements, freedom against telephonic tappings, right to telecast, right against band called by political party, right to know about the government, right to criticize against the government. So both right to know about the activities of government as well as criticizing the government is a part of freedom of speech and expression, right? Right to demonstration or picketing, which does not amount to right to strike. So remember, right to strike does not come under speech and expression. Right to strike is not mentioned in Constitution of India. It is right to demonstration. Right to demonstration or picketing, right, which is not a strike. Right, so this comes under speech and expression. Alright, so coming to a second one, that is every individual is given the freedom of assembly, a peaceful assembly. Every individual has the right to assemble peacefully without arms, right? This right also includes a right to public meetings, demonstrations and take out processions, right? So but it should be an unarmed and a peaceful assembly, right? So the conditions are unarmed and peaceful assembly. Third is freedom of association. Freedom of association, which also includes the right to form political parties or right to not to join a political party. So every individual has the right to form association as well as unions, right? But this right is subjected to the recognition granted by the state, and granting of recognition is not a fundamental right. So it is subjected to the recognition granted by the state, and it is granting recognition is not a fundamental right. So it is not compulsory for the state to provide recognition. Alright, so another coming to the right, fourth one, every individual has the freedom to move freely throughout the throughout the nation. So freedom, right to move freely. Right to move freely in any part of India, right? So but this free movement is restricted in scheduled areas as well as tribal areas. So there can be a restriction in the name of interest of general public as well as protecting the interest of scheduled tribe. Right? The individuals, though they have freedom to move in any part of India, but it is restricted in the name of general interest. General interest, as well as this movement is restricted in scheduled tribal areas to protect the interest, right, in the name of protection of interest of the scheduled tribes and the tribal population, their customs, their laws, right, their civilization, their practices, right. So protection of interest of, right, tribal areas. So as well as there is a restriction, so state can impose restriction on the movement of individual who are infected by HIV, right. So movement of persons infected by HIV. So this is what the fourth freedom. Coming to fifth freedom, it is a freedom to reside in any part of India. Freedom to reside in any part of India. So every individual has the freedom and to own property in any part of India. They can reside as well as they can own property in any part of India, right? That is, they can settle in any part of India. But this freedom is again restricted in the name of protection of general interest. General interest, as well as it is also restricted in tribal areas. That is, the individuals do not have the freedom to reside or acquire property or settle in tribal areas. The purpose of restriction is to protect the interest of the tribal people, the scheduled tribes, right, their customs, their laws, right, etc. Right. So this is what about fifth freedom. Coming to sixth freedom, freedom of trade, profession and business. Freedom of trade, profession and business, right. So every individual has the freedom to practice any profession or to carry out any occupation, trade or business, right. So this right is very wide as it covers all the means of earning one's own livelihood, but the state can impose reasonable restrictions. State can impose reasonable restrictions, right, on this trade, as well as, right, state can take up a trade, right, in competition with the citizen, as well as the state has absolute power to prohibit the business or trade of the individuals, right, in the name of protecting the general interest, right. So these are the freedoms mentioned in Article 19, right. Let us also have a look over the conditions within which these freedoms should be enjoyed. So Article 19 class 2 of the Constitution, right, provides certain conditions within which these freedoms can be enjoyed. Freedoms can be enjoyed by the citizens. One is sovereignty, security of the nation, protecting the law and order, that is public order, right, decency, morality of the society, India's foreign relations, protecting India's foreign relation, friendly relations with the other countries, contempt of court, right? So these are the conditions which as mentioned in article 19 class 2, apart from the conditions like general interest, apart from, so let me also say, so apart from the grounds of general interest of scheduled tribes, interest of the scheduled tribes. So in the name of this, state can impose reasonable restrictions. These conditions can be used to impose reasonable restrictions. All right, and remember, article 19 is always seen as a part and parcel of article 21. So article 19 is always seen as a part and parcel of article 21. So any restriction imposed on article 19 should also fulfill the grounds of article 21, that is protection of life and liberty of the individual, right to life and liberty of the individual, right? So this is what article 19 says. Now what is the importance of this article for coming UPSC exam, right? So article 19 is important for UPSC because recently there is a new, right, there was a debate on misuse of sedition laws, right, where what called sedition laws was used to curb the freedom of speech and expression, particularly during anti-CAA demonstrations, right? So we have seen the demonstrations in universities, right? So the issue of arrest of a student Ujjwala Chaudhary, right, in support, right, who raised slogans, right, who talked in support of the arrested individuals in the anti-CAA demonstrations. So there was a debate for almost all 1 year, and it is an everlasting debate in India on the usage of sedition laws by the government whenever there is a criticism against the government. All right, so there is a debate on article 19, that is speech and expression versus sedition laws. So this is one issue which has took place in the recent past. Second one is press freedom, right? So arrest warrants being issued against journalists being arrested, right? Curtailing the rights of the TV, what you call the newspapers as well as news channels. So there is a debate on press freedom, freedom of trade and business. So here it is, in this context we will discuss this article 19. So if we take article 19, that is speech and expression, every individual is given the right to speech and expression, where under article 19 of the constitution, right, every individual has the freedom to talk, that is to use their freedom of expression, either in the form of opinions, in the form of views, beliefs, convictions, right, freely, by word, by mouth, by writing, by printing, picturing, or in any manner, right? So this is the right given by the constitution under article 19(1) of the constitution, right? And coming to sedition laws, section 124A of the constitution, section 124A of IPC, which empower the state to impose restriction on the speech and expression of the individual if the speech and expression of the individual amounts to, if it leads to inciting people to violence, incite people to violence, or with an intention of creating, with an intention of creating a public disorder, public disorder. Alright, so there is a clear cause. If speech and expression leads to incitement of people, right, towards violence, or if the intention behind this is to create a public disorder, then section 124A of IPC can be used against the individuals who criticize government or who misuse their speech and expression. Right, so this is what section 124A says. Right, so mere criticizing the government, mere talking about the government will not amount to what you call creating of public disorder or incitement of people to the violence. So here in this regard we should remember two cases. One is, so coming to the using of sedition laws, we should remember two case laws. One is Kedarnath versus state of Bihar case, Kedarnath Singh versus state of Bihar case. Second one is Balwant Singh versus state of Punjab case. So in Kedarnath case, Supreme Court clearly stated that, alright, the citizen has a right to say or write about the government as long as it does not incite people to violence against the government established by a law or with the intention of creating a public disorder. Right, so this is what Kedarnath Singh judgment is. Alright, so government cannot use sedition laws unless it proves there is incitement of people or creating a public disorder. In Balwant Singh case, Supreme Court held that, right, Supreme Court held that casual raising of slogans, by one or two individuals once or twice, right, cannot be said to be exciting or attempting to excite hatred or disaffection by the government. So any mere sloganeering by one or two people, right, for once or twice, right, cannot be said to be aimed at exciting or attempt to excite hatred or disaffection by the government. So mere raising slogan cannot be treated as, alright, cannot be treated to be creating hatred or disaffection or disorder in the society. So these are the two cases, Kedarnath Singh and Balwant Singh case. Right, so this is what about speech and expression. Alright, and speech and expression cannot be regulated just in the name of sloganeering or in the name of what you call criticizing the government. Another one is another part which is in news is press freedom. So press freedom is always seen as an integral part of speech and expression. Press freedom is always seen as integral part of speech and expression. Supreme Court in Romesh Thapar versus State of Madras case, as well as Brijbhushan versus State of Delhi case. In both these cases, Supreme Court clearly stated that press freedom is a part of speech and expression, so it cannot be arbitrarily curtailed down. Alright, so this is what about the press freedom. Coming to third, that is trade and business. Every individual has been given the freedom to practice. They have the right to profess their own trade and business, but this should not curtail the rights of the others. Right, so employer and employee. Employer as an individual, they have the rights, but they cannot curtail the rights of the employees. So recently we have seen, right, the industries, the owners of the manufacturing units raising the working hours. Right, so though they have the right under Article 19 to do their own trade and practice, their own business, but it cannot be used to restrict the rights of the laborers. Right, so rights under Article 23 as well as rights under Article 43 should be protected along with Article 19. So the right mentioned in Article 19 1F can be restricted in the name of protecting the rights guaranteed under Article 23 of the Constitution as well as rights mentioned in Article 43 of the Constitution. Right, so this is what about Article 19, and this is the reason why we should remember Article 19 for UPSC exam. Right, similarly